In this video, I'll discuss the third episode of season 8 in detail, so stay tuned for that. Hello everyone, welcome to Ultimate Book Maniacs, your one stop for book and TV series reviews. I post episode reviews, top 10 and theory videos. So make sure to subscribe this channel, and if you wanna make sure you never miss a video, click the bell icon to turn on notifications. So, let's begin. I'm not sure I have words for this episode. My hands are still shaking. Wow, this was such an amazing episode. In the beginning, there is so much anxiety, so much tension, just waiting for the army of the dead. That was really scary. Melisandre arrives to help in this war. Her whole purpose for coming to Westeros in the first place was to defeat the army of the dead. She thought Stannis was Azor Ahai, and she tried to prepare him for the Great War and made mistakes along the way. She had already told Varys she would die in Westeros, so it was not a surprise when she showed up to help in the Battle for the Dawn 2.0. But the way she showed up was surprising. It wasn't clear who was coming towards them. It was confusing because the White Walkers won't send a single rider like that. Melisandre helped in three ways. First, she lit up the Dothraki's weapons, although it didn't help much in the battle. Second, their plan was to light up the trench when everyone retreats to the castle, but they failed to do it because normal fire couldn't burn the wooden sticks in the winter storm summoned by the White Walkers. Melisandre prayed to R'hllor and lighted up the trench. Third, she reminded Arya what she had told her when they had first met about the three eyes Arya would shut forever. Brown eyes, who is probably Walder Frey. Green eyes, I'm not sure who it can be, maybe Cersei. And blue eyes, which is probably the Night King. And then she reminds her, what do you say to the god of death? Remember how Gendry had told Arya that they were death, and Arya had told him she knows death and she is looking forward to seeing this one. So, in a way, Melisandre also helped win this war by unleashing Arya on the Night King. And after they had won, her purpose was fulfilled, so she let go and died. Arya used the same tactic she used in her sparring session with Brienne. She flipped the knife from one hand to another, and before the Night King could realize what she was doing, she stabbed him. I think Arya killing the Night King makes so much sense in a Game of Thrones way. Everyone was expecting either Jon or Dany to kill the Night King, and if they had done it, it would have been predictable, and Game of Thrones is anything but predictable. I don't think anyone expected Arya to kill the Night King, including me, despite the fact that Arya was number 1 on my top 10 badass females of Westeros list, and most of my top 10 most satisfying deaths were performed by Arya herself. Arya was trained by three of the greatest fighters, Syrio Forel, the Hound, and Jaqen H'ghar, who was one of the deadliest assassins in the world. Also, I loved how the Hound was ready to let everyone die until he saw that Arya kept fighting despite the fact that everything was against her. I also loved how he had to carry her out when she tried to keep fighting the dead. So, as I was saying, everyone thought Jon or Dany were Azor Ahai because they were Targaryens. And even though Dany did try to burn the Night King with dragonfire, it didn't work because the Night King was ice and it negated the power of fire. You might be wondering why Valyrian steel worked when the dragonfire didn't. I'll explain why. Do you remember my season 8 Q&A part 2 video? I discussed in those videos how the children of the forest put spells on the wall to keep the White Walkers out. Even Uncle Benjen said back in season 6 that the wall was more than just ice. There were spells woven into it. So we know the Night King is powerless against these spells, and he was not able to cross the wall because of these spells. I also explained in my season 7 and 8 Q&A video how he used Viserion's magic to break the magic of the wall. And I discussed in my blood magic video that the children might have used blood magic while building the wall to keep the ice together and whole for thousands of years. Valyrian steel is also magic. George R. R. Martin says Valyrian steel is a fantasy metal, which means it has magical characteristics, and magic plays a role in its forging. And that was why the Valyrian steel was able to kill the Night King. Bran probably knew all this, and that's probably why he gave the dagger to Arya. I've already discussed in Bran's journey video about how he can see the future. Maybe he even saw this moment and prepared Arya for it. What do you think? I know many people were wondering how did Arya snuck up on the Night King. I'll explain that too. When Theon was taking Bran towards the Godswood, you can see there were three archways. You can also see these three archways in the opening title. Since almost everyone capable was either in the courtyard or on the battlements fighting, the Night King had Viserion guard the first archway to stop anyone from disturbing him. Jon saw that Sam was in trouble, but he still kept trying to get to Bran. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't get past Viserion and the first archway, which is exactly what the Night King and the White Walkers have expected. They didn't think anyone else would be able to disturb them. You might think that Arya got into the Godswood through the second or the third archway, but that's not possible either, because as you can see here, the Whites and the White Walkers were standing in front of the entrance to the Godswoods. So what I think has happened here was that Arya came before the Night King's arrival. Arya had left that room before the Night King had entered Winterfell. Arya was also in the council meeting when Bran had suggested using him as bait. Arya had told Bran they will not leave him alone out there. So when Melisandre had told her she would shut Blue Eyes forever and to tell the god of death not today, Arya came to the Godswoods and probably hid behind one of the trees to wait for the Night King. She probably didn't even tell Theon and Bran she was there, because Theon would try to protect or stop her. But Bran didn't seem afraid of the Night King. So while Bran was looking at the battle, maybe he saw Arya come and hide as well. By the way, do you remember my Stark Blood Theory video? I said in that video that Bran the Builder helped build the wall, then built Winterfell and founded House Stark as a backup plan in case the wall ever falls. He also said the house words, "Winter is coming and there must always be a Stark in Winterfell," to warn the future generations of the White Walkers. But recently, a new thought occurred to me. Maybe he also named this place Winterfell, that is Winter and Fell, as in the place where Winter, aka the White Walkers, would fall and will be defeated by a Stark. Do you think Bran the Builder was a three-eyed raven too? Anyway, some people also asked what happened to the ravens. The ones who got too close to the Night King, he killed them, but there might have been others flying over other parts of the battle. Arya sends Sansa to the crypts where Gilly, Varys, and Tyrion etc. are waiting. Sansa and Tyrion have a nice moment together, and Sansa says it would never work between them because his divided loyalties between the Starks and the Dragon Queen would become a problem. And I love how loyal Missandei is to Dany. She defends her by saying, "Yes, without the Dragon Queen, there would be no problem at all. We would all be dead already." I know many people said that Dany never fights herself, but I was so glad to see Dany fighting alongside Jorah, even though she never learned to fight. I'm so sad that Dany not only lost her armies, both the Dothraki and most of the Unsullied, but she also lost her two children, Viserion and Rhaegal, to protect Jon and Winterfell. But Sansa would probably still give her a hard time about Winterfell, judging by what went on in the crypts. When Arya gave Sansa the dagger, I thought Sansa might fight and kill a few whites too, especially when people were getting killed in the crypts and she had the weapon to stop them. But Sansa never fought for her people or gave it to someone who could. By the way, the only reason Sansa gave for her and Tyrion not working out was his divided loyalties. So does that mean if Jon and Dany get married and became one house, Tyrion's loyalties won't be a problem anymore? Do you think there is a possible future for Tyrion and Sansa? Some of the other great characters died in this episode, and their deaths made perfect sense. Lyanna, despite being a little thing, was never afraid of people bigger than her, and this applied to the giant white too. Yes, she died, but she brought down a giant who was killing everyone. And as I had discussed in my Will Jorah Find a Cure and other videos, all Jorah wanted was to serve Dany. Ian Glen had said Jorah would die a happy man if he could get Dany's forgiveness, which he got. He knows Dany can't love him back the way he loves her. Watching her with Jon would have been hurtful for him. The next best thing he could have wanted was to die protecting her, and he would be at peace now knowing she was safe. But with both Lyanna Mormont and Jorah Mormont gone, another house becomes extinct now. Sion died protecting Bran. As I had said in my season 7 episode 7 review video, everything he went through with Ramsay was for a reason. He came back stronger, strong enough to look death in the face and fight back. Theon died a hero's death. As for what's next, given that Cersei was David and Dan's favorite character, it's not a big surprise that they made her the big bad of the series. But I'm glad for it. This way, we will have two different endings because in the book Cersei is opposite of the show Cersei. She's reckless and stupid. She makes horrible mistakes. She does things that Tywin would never do in his dream, but still considers herself Tywin 2.0. With two different endings, at least the books won't be spoiled for us by the show. What do you think? Anyways, it's time for the comment shoutout now. Today's comment shoutout goes to Priya Randolph, who asked, do you think Arya would use a face changing trick somewhere down the season? She does have Littlefinger's face. Yes, I definitely believe that Arya would use her face changing trick at least one more time in the upcoming episodes. I know many people, including me, have always believed that either Jaime or Tyrion were the Valonqar. But I have also said that if they can't be the ones, then Arya or Euron could be the Valonqar too. If it's not one of her brothers, then I would want Arya to be the one who kills Cersei, even if she has to wear someone else's face to do it. So, what did you think of this episode? Don't forget to tell us your thoughts in the comments. If you like this video, please click on the like button below, share the video and subscribe to my channel. Have a great day. Bye bye. See you in my next video.